The new iPads are out, Apple TVs delivering early, Retina apps, PayPal is here, and how to transfer your iPad data plan from AT&T. It's Friday, March 16th, 2012, and this is iWake. I'm Tim Chaten, and this is what's going on in the Apple world today. Before beginning today's episode, I want to wish everybody a happy iPad 3 day. It's iPad day, and just happy day. Before beginning today's episode, I just want to remind everyone about the iWake podcast app. It's in the App Store. It's $3. It lets you stream, download, and just easily access the iWake app over Wi-Fi or 3G, or now the fake 4G. It's a pretty cool app, and if you like iWake, it's a nifty app to have. Also, since today is Friday, I have to mention iWake again. iWake Again is what financially supports this podcast, and I need subscribers to that for this show to work, for this show to exist. And basically, it's a Saturday show. Every Saturday, you can wake up to iWake once more. Again, and you get interviews, discussions all about Apple and different things around that. They're longer form shows, 30, 40, 50, even 60 minutes sometimes. So iWake Again, awesome way to support the show and get some more content that way. You can sign up over at iWakePodcast.com/again. This week's episode will feature Jerome and I. Jerome lives in Honolulu with me, and he is going to be talking with me about the just crazy rumor and link baiting phenomenon that the Apple blogosphere has created over the years. So that's me one thing, and then we'll probably have a new iPad in-house to talk about as well. So that's iWake Again, and that'll be coming out this Saturday. Sign up today over at iWakePodcast.com/again. With that, let's get on to the news for the day. To kick off the day is some just iPad news. First up, I just want to wish everyone best of luck in acquiring their iPad today. Whether you're listening to the show right now, sitting in line waiting for your iPad, or waiting for the UPS or FedEx truck, good luck and congrats on your purchase. With that, some iPad reviews from those that have had them for a week already. Mac Rumors rounds them out, and starting with Macworld. Macworld says, with Jason Snell, text in most apps will automatically upscale to take advantage of Retina display, though with some exceptions. The Kindle app did not do so. The third generation iPad had a frame rate of 1.6 times that of the iPad 2, most helpful for video games. The third generation iPad is almost identical physically to the iPad 2. Video quality was impressive even in low light conditions, and AT&T's LTE network was blazing fast with 14.5 megabits down and 20 up. Just amazing speeds there. The Loop with Jim Dalrymple goes on by saying, remember how startling it was to go from a standard definition projector TV to an HD TV. It's like that. The screen is a huge difference in the iPad 2. Movies and photos are crystal clear. TechCrunch goes on, once you see the new iPad, there is no going back. LTE is really fast, bigger battery, and it gets noticeably warm at the bottom left. Others have not said this, so I'm not sure as to if he had a special broken iPad or something like that. Moving on is The Verge. The Verge says, we're not exaggerating when we say this is the most beautiful computer screen they've ever seen. Battery tests were on par with what Apple claimed, or a little bit less than that. So it goes on with some more reviews, but basically the bottom line is this. The screen is awesome, and that is something that a lot of reviewers have noticed have not given Apple full credit for. The screen is amazing, the best display many have seen in their lives, and that display is worth the upgrade alone. Everything else is gravy on top of that. The LTE, the better camera, and all the other things that are in there. It is a big update no matter how you look at it. So, with that saying, I'm guessing there will be hot demand for this. There will be 2 to 3 months worth of delays because of demand. And other iPad-related news is the simple fact that FaceTime still doesn't work over a cell network, whether it's LTE, 3G, or 2G. And this is not an issue with the speed of the network. And this is a story that's coming up and being made into a story, even though it's not a story. This story about cellular networks and FaceTime, it's not a problem of data speeds. I have personally, last weekend, I went to Diamond Head Crater to the summit overlooking Honolulu, very high up, and I made 2 FaceTime calls over 3G on a jailbroken iPad 2, and the video was crystal clear, the audio was crystal clear, it works great. The problem is not with data speeds, the problem is with the carriers being fearful. They're being fearful, one, of the fact that this may replace the need for voice calls. Number 2, they're being fearful of data use, which they shouldn't be, because the more data people use, the more they get billed and the more money AT&T and Verizon make. So it's a crazy thing. It's not a story. Nothing's changed. The data speeds isn't what matters. It's the carriers getting a new mindset is what will change this all along. So that's that. And relating to LTE is Verizon. They're expanding their coverage map for LTE once again. As noted yesterday, their goal is over 400 markets by the end of 2013. They're up to now 203, with adding the following cities: Dothan and Enterprise in Alabama, Naples, Florida, Greenville, North Carolina, Altus and Durant in Oklahoma, and Longview and Marshall in Texas. Verizon is also expanding their existing coverage to a bunch of other cities, including Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Elkhart, Indiana, Hilton Head, South Carolina, and many more, including Dallas, Fort Worth. So a lot of great news on the Verizon LTE front. If you are a 4G LTE Verizon iPad owner now, congrats. Your service just got that much better. And now, on to some Apple TV news. First bit is that it's arriving early. On Thursday, customers are actually receiving their new Apple TVs, and not on Friday, so a day early. So that's very cool. And also the reviews are pretty much on par with what I would expect. Nothing stunning here. It's 1080p, and that is a very cool thing. They're noting 1080p content, for many people, looks exactly like that of the Blu-ray. So there's not a big change there with quality, which is a cool thing to see. But 1080p, if you're fine with 720p, there is no reason to upgrade. The Retina apps, out of hardware news and into apps. So Retina apps. To begin, I just thought I'd share some file size differentials. Ted Landau on Twitter was sharing these, and I thought I'd share them with you. The Kindle app Retina update went from 17.5 to 19.2. Not much change there. But the other apps, the image-related apps, went up in size quite a bit. Solar Walk, 188 megabits up to 318 megabytes. Labyrinth 2 HD, 17 to 48 megabytes, almost triple the size. Some impressive file size gains that should make the 16 gigabyte iPad all the more less useful. So be knowledgeable and awareful of this when you do purchase your iPad. Now, on to some apps that are notable for me as far as Retina updates. And the first one is Evernote. Evernote is my favorite iPad app. It is the iPad app that I install first on every iPad. It's the iPad app I installed first back in 2010, and it's the first app I installed on my iPad 2. So it's been Retina optimized. It's also been improved with text input. And as said by the Evernote blog, in this update, they've updated the behind-the-scenes improvements to text editing. You'll notice that the note editor is much more responsive and reliable than in the past. They also enhanced checkbox behavior to work more like lists. They also now support indentation, and new lines created after a checkbox will automatically insert a new box. They've addressed a number of issues, including spacing and things like that. And another big change is predictive titles. They added this a while back where it would guess a good title for you on the iPad or iPhone, and now you're able to choose from a multiple list of different selections, and it kind of goes back over your previous note titles to try to have some uniformity with your titles. A pretty nifty thing that should help out a lot of us Evernote users. A nice update available now in the App Store. Next, the Kindle app. As mentioned, it was not ready for the iPad 3. Now it is. It's been updated, and it looks great on the new iPad. It's Retina upgraded, and also included is a new library design. View your content in a new and upgraded feel for the iPad. Also, the iPhone users can now use a grid look rather than the old look, which I believe would be a list view. The other new feature is Cloud View. Easily access all your content in the cloud in a simple and combined view, so you can see what's on your device, what's on the cloud. A nifty and cool update for Kindle users, which I am not one of those. Now let's move on to the Wolfram Alpha update and another update. These are both apps that are being updated that don't have anything to do with the iPad. These are iPhone apps, in the most part. So the first app, as mentioned just a second ago, is Wolfram Alpha. The update adds some cool stuff. According to Engadget, it's version 1.4. It adds a nice visual refresh for weather queries, so it looks prettier, and also lets you search for Best Buy items and see prices and things like that. But the biggest thing is an in-app purchase of $1, which lets you do something pretty cool. Add filters, perform color processing, OCR recognition, and detect features in view EXIF and histogram information for your photos. So this is a huge update for photographers, some nifty things here, some helpful things here, and worth having as a photographer if you are one of those. The app is $3, in-app purchase $1, $4 as your total. Not too bad for something as powerful as Wolfram Alpha. Last up in app news is the arrival of Sparrow for iPhone. The app works with IMAP services like Gmail and iCloud. The interface is overall very good and has gotten fairly positive reviews. Many reviews point out that the built-in mail client is actually much better still, and nothing will ever supplant that as the best mail app, even with Sparrow being as good as it is. The app lacks push notifications, which is a problem with Apple not letting that happen through the protocols that developers need to work through. It's a great app, but the built-in app doesn't need replaced. It does not need replaced, so there's no reason I would recommend you to go out and purchase this. Just use the built-in mail app. You'll be happy. If you do want to buy it, it's $3, available now in the App Store. Now on to competitor news. Competitor Watch today are two stories. First is a cool new feature found in Super Monkey Ball for the Vita. Sega added this feature that lets you take a photo with your Vita and use that as part of the level in this Super Monkey Ball game. So you're able to roll your ball over this image. Part of the level's pretty cool. I would hope this innovative feature gets brought to the iOS games, but I'm not sure if that ever will. It's pretty nifty, and it's cool to see. The other thing I want to mention here, I guess there's three stories, not two. Sorry about that. The other story before moving on to the big one of PayPal is to mention that Firefox is considering to add H.264 to Firefox Mobile. This is a big deal as Mozilla is stepping down in their war against Apple's standard, which they have been up until now. Thanks to Apple Insider for pointing out this one. Now, closing out Competitor Watch news today is a competitor for the Square credit card reader, this time from PayPal. The new system is called PayPal Here, and according to The Verge, the CEO and owner, John Donahue, unveiled a small dongle, a triangle-shaped one, that can be used to accept credit card payments and competes directly with Square. It's called PayPal Here. The reader, a large blue triangle that snaps onto the top of the iPhone, if you have the headphone jack, includes a wing on the hinge of it to stabilize the reader from moving around. This has been a problem with the Square reader that many have noticed. This app, this dongle, uses the PayPal Here app, which is a free app, which the merchant only has to push in the amount that's due and then can hand it over to the customer to swipe, sign, and tip. So pretty nifty. They can also get receipts through that, and has a scan card feature which lets you take a photo of the card or even a check to pay the person. This is useful for if you're missing the dongle. PayPal, they've mentioned, will charge a flat rate of 2.7%, and there's more to it, but that's the basics, 2.7%, and a cool service that should provide some nice competition with Square, which is always, or mostly always, a good thing. Closing out today's show are two odd and end stories. The first is a cool place, a cool store called Castagram. My older sister sent me this tip in, and it looks pretty sweet. Basically, the site will pull in your Instagram feed and generate an iPhone case out of it. The cases cost $35 with free shipping worldwide. If you're an Instagram nut or fan or just looking for a new iPhone case, check out Castagram.com. It may be the kind of case you're looking for. And finally today is a reminder on how to transfer your AT&T iPad data plan to the new iPad. So if you have a data plan on your iPad 1 or 2 and want to transfer it to the new iPad, you don't need to call AT&T or anything like that. Just go to the web, go to www.att.com/iPad-landing. That's www.att.com/iPad-landing. You will need your SIM ID card number and your iPad ID number, which can both be found in the Settings app in the About area of that. I did this when transferring from iPad 1 to 2, and it works seamlessly, and it was up and running within minutes. No need to call AT&T. Just visit att.com/iPad-landing. Enjoy your new LTE-enabled iPad. Well, That's what's going on in the Apple world today. That will do this week for some of us, but not everybody. If you are an iWake Again subscriber, tomorrow you'll have another episode. And as I mentioned, it's going to be a good one. Rumor discussions, why it is such a big thing in the blogosphere. And also, we'll have an iPad on hand, most likely, and we'll be talking about that. So lots of great stuff. And if you want to geek out with Apple this weekend as you enjoy your new iPad, that's going to be the great place to go. iWakePodcast.com/again. Thanks to everyone for listening. I'll talk to everyone else on Monday. Talk to Again subscribers tomorrow. Aloha.